We got JRH family member Trojans and up-and-comer GiometriQ. Again, competitors' hats aside on who you want to face. Who do you think is going to win here?
Oh, that's a toss-up. I mean, I'm favoring Trojans just because of the experience, and Trojans has been in Elite League and played plenty of playoff set lists. But with the way that GiometriQ has performed, I don't know. It's a toss-up. I mean, they took TJJ to tiebreak.
I think this is a very realistic tiebreak scenario here.
Yeah.
I think too. I think I might have to give a slight edge to Trojans. Again, with that experience, and especially how Trojans played against JRH, like that'll be a pretty tough opponent. But GiometriQ also, in my match against him in group stage, he FC no. So there's that.
I think personally the experience plays a huge factor in. Personally, I still see Trojans taking it, but I don't think it'll be an easy win.
No.
It won't be easy for either player, I don't think. I will be very surprised if it is. And pleasantly surprised at that, because that basically means we're seeing the highest level of competition from these players, which in a tournament, you want the highest level of competition from every single one of your players. So if this turns out to be a 4-0 in either direction, I will absolutely applaud whoever does it. It's a massive amount of respect to 4-0 anybody in competition.
Yeah. Also, something to consider, despite us, the general consensus being a slight advantage to Trojans, Gio is higher seeded, so he gets first ban, first pick, and that might let him build some momentum at the start.
Did somebody say Jeweler?
Somebody did, in fact, say Jeweler. All right, so we are into the bans, as we have Trojans ban, Gio's ban in, which is Mulberry Mouse, to Random Day's absolute dismay.
That, I was really hoping we'd see Mulberry Mouse today, but
if anyone in chat does not know, Random actually commissioned that chart from Haggis.
And I believe, the first to FC it. Either that or Rob got it before me. I don't remember. Rob, very good player, storied Elite League player.
Absolutely. As Trojans bans Rain Dance. So we won't be seeing that for this half of the stream either.
No, we saw Rain Dance earlier.
Oh, right. Yeah, my short-term memory is not good.
It's okay. I'm here. I got you.
Thank you. We can always count on the Moye.
But it seems like Gio is thinking about his first pick. So while he thinks about his first pick, let's both think about our choice for first pick. If I'm Gio, I'm going with something I'm strong at, and I imagine, and I don't remember the scores very much on Score Spy. But I would pick something like motion picture, and it looks like Gio picks because we can.
Because he can.
So it looks like we're getting in the match real quick.
All right. Because we can.
And finally, some players playing on a normal note speed value. And GiometriQ missed the intro right away.
A phrase drop from Trojans.
So we already have a very interesting match here, because we got players missing left and right. But that phrase miss is absolutely big. And we're not even going to see an activation from Trojans here at first. There is a tiny silver lining, if anything, here, though, which is, one, GiometriQ was missing a lot in that phrase. Oh, and we get a phrase drop there. Oh, that's not good. Oh, that changes everything about the path. And, I mean, this is GiometriQ's pick, so you don't expect a whole lot else. GiometriQ, with the star power advantage, getting the phrase, they're going to get this act off here. Activating really early, which I believe Oh. I think they were expecting to miss in the super fast part there, so they just went with the safe activation. Not 100% sure. Maybe it was just a misremembering of the path. Who knows? Maybe he doesn't know the path. Maybe he's just improv pathing. We'll have to ask later on in the interview. However,
first activation for Trojans, and
doesn't get the phrase there, but neither does GiometriQ. With all of the crazy misses, this is going to come down to the wire. It doesn't matter who has the power advantage.
Yeah, I also don't think Trojans gets another activation. And coming down to the end, but GiometriQ opening up the lead under star power, and that'll do it.
About 18.3k difference there, but the exact same amount of notes missed. Ladies, gentlemen, and those who know better, that is the difference between missing a phrase, missing understar power, and not. Just absolutely critical lesson learned there. If you're going to miss, don't do it under star power. Don't do it under a phrase, all right?
3 for 7 phrases on Trojans end. Very, very costly, and we'll see how he responds to this.
It's such a killer, really. It's just you cannot afford to do that. So, if you're Trojans, where are you going?
I'm thinking we see a hybrid maybe here.
I'm thinking from Trojans, you kind of want something that's more consistency based. Moose Pickles pointing out in chat, possibly going for Implore. I wouldn't be surprised if we see that.
Yeah,
I also wouldn't be surprised if we see maybe something like
I'm thinking Omega Wave. Speak of the devil.
Oh, there it is. Look at that. The casters both predicted it correctly.
We're so good at this.
If you didn't catch it, get your Omegas out. Omega.
Omega.
Omega. Omega.
Wave. By Forbidden at 110%. And here we go.
This is... If we get anything like...
Broadcast, please say that also wasn't you.
Please tell me you're capping, broadcast.
I've never wanted there to be an imposter among us more.
Oh, please shut up. Can I solo cast? Can I do that? Can I kick Polly out?
My internet does that regularly. It's fine.
Okay, so we're tied. We are now tied going into the break. We didn't miss any notes. We didn't drop any sustains. We're good. All right, we're going right into the thick of things here.
Both holding strong.
Now,
slight advantage for Trojans.
I can't quite tell, but it looks like it's about 200 plus about 2 ticks. Doesn't matter though. GiometriQ missing. So Trojans pick coming to prove things. This is, I miss fewer notes less often. It's just like I'm more consistent. I have the nerve control. I'm gonna beat you on this song.
We're at about a 6% whammy advantage for GiometriQ here. But Trojans on the last activation took the whammy disadvantage and turned it into more points. Let's see here as GiometriQ drops under star power.
This is absolutely just, some people save the songs they're good at for last if their backs are against the wall. Maybe you're more confident against an opponent and you're like, well, if I lose, I'll just pick that, right? I think this one, Trojans just in the loser's bracket, your back's against the wall, you want to come out with your best stuff, and that's exactly what we're seeing from Trojans here. As I say that, missing under star power, bringing it a lot closer than it should be. Oh, and that will be about a 4 to 5k difference here. So right as we get into the Omega of the song, it's just...
And we're seeing Gio have a very consistent whammy advantage throughout this song so far. We'll see if that can help him possibly pull this one back. Much earlier from Trojans.
So we're going to see how much this pulls Gio back, because this will be a considerable amount of SP. And Trojans still holding on to the lead, but now the hairs on the back of your neck are standing up. You're nervous. You're sweating. It's going to be hard to fret those notes. It's going to be hard to strum. You're going to be under so much pressure, knowing, especially if you play with remote highways on, that your opponent is catching up to you. You had a safe lead in the beginning, but now that lead's dwindling. You can't miss now. You can't. If you miss, you're done. You
and
cannot.
As Random Days finishes that monologue, Broadcast is putting Forced to Shit, Despair Wipe, Abandoned in chat. There are two types of people in this world.
And
Phrase drop from Geometric.
We get phrase drop. Ooh. So we had Trojan missing at the beginning of the solo, Geometric missing soon thereafter. But again, the difference: don't miss under an SP, don't miss under a phrase. You can't do either. So we're gonna see how good is Geometric's improv pathing, because this may or may not be something you practice here. You can absolutely practice improv pathing, you can absolutely learn backup paths, but this is going to be an absolute whopper of a match.
Missed before the phrase, thankfully.
Ooh, the spectator glitch just coming in clutch, making everybody think that Gio may have missed that phrase, but oh no, he didn't. He hit it. And we got about a 5% star power difference in favor of Geometric. So
I think it'll still take a miss.
That's a 10% star power difference. That is nothing to scoff at. However, both players activating incorrectly.
And Trojans holds, and will take the counter pick.
I honestly, something tells me that Trojans was strictly following just to make sure that they kept their lead.
That is very good point, and I think that is.
So there's quite a few benefits I'd like to explain about playing with remote highways off. So one, it can be less nerves not knowing what your opponent's doing, because it's just like all you get to focus is your own gameplay. It's like you're playing single player. It's like you're playing in practice mode essentially. However, playing with remote highways on, despite things like getting lower frames despite things like having lower frames when it's on, there's one thing that's very nice to know, and that is, well, you know how much you're ahead on your opponent, and you know that you have the same amount of star power, so you can just follow their path. It doesn't matter if you're on path or not, you can just follow their path. Now, it's a very risky strat because it still means you're going off of the normal chopped act. You just got to know your paths.
Also, in that case for Trojans, there is less to no risk as it's the last activation of the song.
Yes. Oh,
as
and
Gio going with Eviscerate 110.
And as the loading phrase mentions for the song, this should be obvious, but please do not eviscerate people. It's wrong. However, we're in a competitive clone hero match. Someone's got to lose. We're going to see someone get eviscerated here. So, cannot maintain a combo through the intro and missing on the culture. And so apparently this song is very cursed because every time we've loaded up Eviscerate, Broadcast gets kicked. So, enjoy the meme sounds, everybody. I hope you enjoy it.
Broadcast getting eviscerated from the lobby.
Yeah, apparently it's broadcast that gets eviscerated. So Trojans holding very strong here, activating in the right place, making sure to get on the second set of red, yellow, blues.
And both hold through the activation. Very, very solid for both.
At this point, I don't even think it's Broadcast's fault for getting kicked out. I think it's, I am almost certain it's Charter song related. And Trojans still on an FC. Now, it really makes you wonder, has Trojans practiced the outro? Because if anybody here remembers their match against JRH, they were holding their own, and then the outro happened.
Yeah, this was JRH's one. This was JRH's one pick for a reason, and we have word from Java in chat that Gio is good at this outro.
So after that phrase, we're going to be looking at about a 18k point difference. So Trojans no longer on the FC. It was a very respectable run, though. You got to appreciate it.
Absolutely.
Hitting those ladders like it's no problem. But again, this is... It's just going to be another case of who can hit the outro.
Before we do hit the outro, though, I just want to say that like something else to consider with Trojan's performance on this song is his response after "Because We Can" and the 4 phrase misses. It's been it's difficult on the mindset when you have something like that where you're that thrown off your usual pathing, and it's been a very good response from Trojans. As we do hit the outro.
And we get both players missing. It's really just going to be about who misses more here. Oh, and they both don't get the phrase. They're just trading misses right now. It's going to be really hard to see. If anybody can really hold a combo here, they both get that phrase, though. It's coming down to the wire. We're getting about a 18k point difference here.
Dropped phrase. Oh, no, that was spectator glitch.
Spectator glitch. It's okay. Now we're going to see. Can someone hold a combo under SP here? Oh, it's not going to look like it. However, the lead is dwindling ever so slightly. It's about a 12k point difference now.
And Trojans holds on. I think that Gio could have brought that back with a held combo under Star Power. Very close match. But that Trojans takes it on Gio's pick.
Just, it's not it really just proved there. It's not all about who can hit the outro. You got to be good at the rest of the song too. I mean, what else more can you say? Like, dude, I'm speechless because that was so close to a comeback. So,
all right, we've got another pick from Gio here. Where do you see him going?
So we've already seen Because We Can, Eviscerate, and Omega Wave. The bands are Mulberry and Rain Dance.
And for the first time this stream, we will be imploring the negative.
Moose Pickles, very excited in chat to finally see a Strummy boy in here. Speaking of Strummy boys, I really would enjoy getting myself another match casted at some point in the future when the boss songs are dropped and we got
Oh,
Sussy Baka.
absolutely.
I absolutely need to get myself in on that. However,
Sassy Baka and Natalie Capri.
doesn't matter though, because we must be imploring the negative. All right, first notes hit. We're good. We're good. Oh, I can already tell this is going to be this. This should be a spicy run. Now I know Trojans pretty consistent at strumming. I don't know too much about GiometriQ being the up-and-comer in this tournament. So it looks like Trojans getting the correct activation here. Nothing too much out of the ordinary.
Gio actually taking a slight lead here. 1,000 on the dot.
I believe that Trojans actually was going for the safer activation, and Gio might have gotten a squeeze along with that.
And Gio continuing to have the whammy advantage throughout the set. And Gio dropping on the technical strumming.
So one of the important things as you get later and later in the tournament is going to be that whammy advantage. And if you're a player like Trojans who doesn't get that good of a whammy advantage, you're really going to have to start thinking about how can I get this better early whammy? How can I make sure that I play in such a way that anytime a sustain comes up, I have that whammy bar right at the ready? Or a foot pedal whammy. We've seen that from players before. It doesn't really matter how you whammy, it just matters that you do. And for Trojans, you just got to step it up at some point here on that whammy. But does it really matter how much you whammy if you're still in first place and you're on an FC? I don't think it really matters. I mean, every little point you can get will always matter.
No overstrum from either.
As we get into the break here, we get just like a moment to reflect, a moment to calculate. There's about a 3.6k advantage here.
Okay, moment to reflect over. Now take the 3 points.
This could change in an instant if either player were to miss.
As
It's
Trojan
just like that.
on the quicker core changes.
From a slight advantage over to Trojans, we get double the advantage over to Gio. And missing again is Trojans. You cannot afford to miss when there's 3 points on the table. That's why they call it
And that's
that.
a spectator glitch. I thought Gio's phrase.
I also thought Gio missed the phrase, and I was about to freak out because guess what? What have I been saying? You can't afford to miss. Not this late in competition.
Gio with a few drops, but on maybe the best part of the song to drop on. Let's see if he can get back in his groove in time for the next activation.
This is a massive 3-point section.
Trojans with an early activation that Gio takes advantage of,
Oh, and
as
we
well as
get
a
this.
drop.
Okay, we get the phrase though. On a song like this, those phrases matter so much more than on any song. 3 points become even more free points under SP.
Both hold the phrase.
Now it's really, who can hold their nerve here? Because Trojans can't miss.
And does.
Still decides to miss anyways. It's going to
We
be
are
Gio.
so close to a 666 from Gio, but nonetheless, very well played. And that will tie this up.
And look at that. -5 versus -7. It's not about how much you miss. It's about when you miss. Look at that. Oh, you had only 2 more miss notes than your opponent. Well, guess what? You're also down by almost 20k more. You cannot afford to miss in the star power. How many times do I have to say it? I'm going to start
As
getting mad here.
MJ points out, that is actually a PB for Geo. Very
That is absolutely phenomenal. So, I don't know. I'm smelling tiebreaker in the water here.
And as we're sitting right now, I believe we are on pace until at least the next pick for Excuse My Rudeness. All tiebreakers on the table right now. We will see what Trojans picks, and Trojans has to keep the fact that all tiebreakers are on the table in mind with this pick. We've got a lot of terminal predictions in chat, and I would be inclined to agree.
Yeah, and we have Java pointing out that Terminal would be Trojan's comfort pick. I'm inclined to agree too. So, I mean, I would be surprised if we didn't see Terminal here, because I'm not really sure what else exactly Trojans would pick that they would feel comfortable winning on. Because in terms of playing against someone like GiometriQ, you know, picking motion picture soundtrack seems like a death sentence against a player like that. You know, someone who's very proficient at soloing.
And as Java says, if it isn't Terminal, it is likely to avoid the possibility of Ballistic Bunny as a tiebreaker. In which case, the pick would likely be motion picture, just to guarantee it.
Yeah, whoever. So let's remind people sort of the metagaming behind all this. So whoever loses this, it'll be 2-3 in favor of their opponent, and they'll essentially get to influence the tiebreaker, because by this point, if the tiebreaker isn't decided after whatever gets picked here, then that 3-2 match will influence the tiebreaker.
As we get motion picture soundtrack.
So, I'm very curious to see what Trojans has up his sleeve here.
And Villain hype in the chat, 3-4-3.
Whew, all right.
So
Radiohead. When you think of Radiohead, you think of, you know, just these kind of, just these kind of alternative rock songs, all these different types of things. You never really think of notes go burr, but here we got that. And it's probably one of my favorite picks for a tournament song ever, just because of how much the SP matters. Again, with the low BPM. So 50% star power is worth 4 measures, something like that. I believe it's 4 measures worth of SP.
A bit earlier of an activation on the part of Trojans.
Which something tells me that Trojans is going for the safe activation. Yep. That right there looks like the safe one. So, was that supposed to overlap, though?
It was not supposed to overlap.
I don't think there's any path settings that makes you overlap there. This is already setting up to be extremely interesting.
We'll see how much Geo gets out of the next whammy. We'll be sitting at 17% less, but with a 2k lead. That is not good for Geo. We'll have to wait on the activation. And a drop, but recovers to get the phrase.
Trojan's missing there, but it was outside of star power. Now let's see. Are they both going to get this phrase? They are. Right now, it's close enough. It's not close, but it's close enough. Geo can still pull this back. and Trojans pulling off a very impressive motion picture soundtrack run. However, they're missing. They're letting Gio get back in. Oh, and that was not a phrase miss. How many times have we gotten spectator glitch today? I don't know. But we're going to be waiting on an activate from Trojans here very soon.
Drop from both.
Right
last
about
act of the song.
We're getting close here. Right there. That's where we need to activate. Trojans going
And
right on
this
time.
actual
Geometric
decide
following just a little
things.
soon. Oh, if Gio can keep his combo and Trojans misses it all. Oh, and that's exactly what we're seeing. This could come down to the wire here. Oh, and Gio missing. That is going to do it. Trojans up 3-2. Gio gets to decide what the tiebreaker is, assuming they win the last match before tiebreak. This is... I'm telling you, I'm smelling a tiebreaker in the water. You know, some apex predators can smell blood in the water. I smell when tiebreaks are happening. And oh my gosh, if it isn't a tiebreaker, I don't know what it is I'm smelling. So, if we get classical thump, it goes to Super 90. If it's Partita or Terminal, we get Excuse My Rudeness. I am so rooting for a Strum pick right now. You don't believe it. Kadinja, very good band. But you know what? I want a little Excuse My Rudeness in my life.
Absolutely. I want to say I might be misremembering, but in Gio's match versus Aaron, Aaron banned Partita, and I want to say afterwards Gio said that that was like his second choice for a ban. So I am not sure that he wants to really go either Partita or Terminal, but also with the consideration of Super 90 as the tiebreaker.
Here's what I think. I think Gio picks Classical Thump, and then we get a Super 90 tiebreaker because I see Gio also winning Classical Thump. Because if you know anything about Trojans, and Java just pointed this out, I was about to point this out. Trojans FC'd Terminal twice in tournament. I think this is going to be a big one. And it seems like we're going to have Gio taking a little bit of a break right now. He said he went to go grab some water. That's what we're getting word from the ref here. And I think in that meantime, Gio's going to have to decide, do I want to bite the bullet on a Strum pick now? Or do I want to guarantee myself an opportunity at the Strum tiebreaker and hope Trojans misses less?
It's tough when we have this much time between song picks and we've already gone over every single one of the possible scenarios here, rather than just throwing darts at the board.
I mean, here you're not just throwing darts at a board at this point. It's you're trying to like think more of the metagame type stuff. I mean, what do you do here? Do you take the risk of not even pushing it to a tiebreaker, knowing that you're probably going to do better on the hybrid than the Strum, or do you guarantee yourself that extra song win potentially? Because I do see Gio taking Classical Thump over Trojans, just purely on basis of I do believe Gio's slightly better at fretting, especially some of the more crusty stuff. You saw there on motion picture where Trojans took it over, but there really wasn't a whole lot of, like Strum notes thrown in the middle of fretting. Whereas we saw earlier on Because We Can, there's Strum notes in the middle of that fretting, what some may call crusty. We saw Gio just taking that one pretty handedly just based off of not missing in the SP phrases. So it's up in the air, this match.
We also have to consider the angle of Trojans throwing Terminal for content. It is one of the timelines of all time.
I didn't write the script for this match, so I don't know.
It is Partita.
And it's Partita. So, you know what that means? If Gio wins this, we see Excuse My Rudeness. But that's the thing. If Gio wins it,
I am. I know, as a caster, it is recommended to be impartial, but I want to see. Excuse my rudeness here.
You know,
I am on the temporary Geo train.
you're supposed to be impartial to the players, but I'm not. But I am impartial to players. I also want to see. Excuse my rudeness. So, Geo, please show us what you got. Now, this is one of the easier paths in the whole tournament. I believe it's just 3 and then a bunch of 2 nearly next notes, if I remember correctly. So, it looks like I was wrong or they don't know the paths either. So it doesn't really matter here though, because the song is so uniformly note dense. It's the same NPS all the way throughout.
And another thing to consider is Geo has had the whammy advantage throughout the set, and that's not as much of a factor in this song, if it's a factor at all.
Yeah, this song, out of the entire set list, is one of, I feel like, 2 songs where it's just like, you have to be completely focused all the way through, and there is no downtime whatsoever. It's just from start to finish. You don't really get any breathers whatsoever. This one and in... Oh.
Geo takes the lead.
Oh, that one... Right in the middle of as I was talking through my thought, we see an absolutely insane development. And Trojans missing the phrase
miss from Trojans!
Are we seeing it? Are we seeing it? Is this Geo pulling out the most Giga Chad?
Come on,
Partita?
This Trojans will pull some of that back.
This isn't just Giga Chad level play.
Another phrase drop.
This was an Omega Chad, because it's think about it. He took out a random number generator for this song because he didn't know what to pick, and the universe just decided, you're gonna play Partita, you're gonna win, and we're gonna go to Tiebreaker, because right now we are heading into Meteor territory.
This is wild. As Trojans with 3 phrase misses in a row near the halfway point of the song. Bit of an unfortunate callback to Because We Can. We are spreading misinformation on the internet. It was not actually randomly generated. It was very close to being so. But either way, it is time for what many people have said is the most hype tiebreaker in CSC tournament history.
I'm going to say it again. Ladies, gentlemen, those who know better, are you ready?
And in honor of this charts charter, it is Rat Jam time.
We have it. This is what we've been waiting for. Taka just got out of bed for this. The very man who picked the set list. We could not thank you enough for bringing in a banger of a tiebreaker. Now, the only advantage I can possibly think of either way is maybe it's the JRH fan blessing with Trojans. JRH having FC'd this song on more than one occasion. But truly, I don't know either of these players' scores on this song. I know given both of their skill sets, they should be about relatively even. So this could definitely just come down to on just who's hitting more star power, who's holding their nerves together. Because in a tiebreaker, you are more nervous at that point than any other point when you're competing. I've been through 2 tiebreakers myself, and both times I was absolutely shaking before it started. Now, once you get into it, and once you start playing, the nerves calm down a little bit. You start noticing you're on an FC, and you're just like, you have to think to yourself, how long can I keep this FC up? You know, just don't miss. Just make sure that, you know, if you see that star power phrase, you do whatever you can to hit those notes, because I have to mention time and time again, if you're going to miss, don't do it under SP. Don't do it on a phrase.
And according to chat, Trojans has beaten Blue Bro on the song and is favored by 100K on their PBs.
And before this matchup commences, everybody give Miscellany a clap in chat for drinking water. Stay hydrated. You either got to hydrate or you dehydrate.
All right, here we go. Excuse my rudeness. Winner plays Moose Pickles in the next round of the losers bracket.
Now,
Fuck it.
Fuck it.
I just have one question for you, Tolly. What's a genre?
I don't. I've never heard of them in my life. I know that gent is not a genre, but I can't really say what is.
So we got Gio on the whammy advantage. However, we do see there must have been a sustained drop or an activation difference somehow. I couldn't keep up with what happened, but we got a slight point difference already. Oh, now okay, that was just spectator delay. It was actually, we are tied. That is ping difference.
Top 10 rappers Eminem is afraid to diss. Number 2, Maureen Calliope. Number 1, Coughing Baby.
All right.
Activation from both.
This is...
And here we go.
Are you ready? This is where the make or break happens, and Trojans misses under SP, but they still pick up the phrase. They both pick up the phrase there. So in the up-tempo hardcore section, we're going to be seeing Gio's missing just a little bit more, but they're still going to be up on points.
Activation from both holding strong through the chords. Gio with the drop.
Trojans holding strong. This is absolutely commendable, but as I say that, they miss the phrase. There's going to be a phrase difference already, and we're not even a quarter of the way through the song. I can't believe I'm saying this, but this could also just come down to the wire here.
Second phrase drop. That wasn't just spectator.
Oh, no, that is gut-wrenching if you're Trojans.
Tricky part here. Gio getting through most of it, as he did Partita. Good activation, but a miss. And holds the phrase, both of them.
So knowing Gio's pathing ability, I'm not entirely sure if this is just improv path, or if they actually was like, you know, screw it, I'm going to learn one of the tiebreaker paths, because I've noticed they've been off path here and there. And so as we get into the piano time section,
and there is the lick. I'm sorry for anyone who missed that you need to know this, but it happened.
Yeah, I love being licked. Please lick me harder. Anyways, feel free to ban me at any point.
Either ban them or clip that.
So Trojans with the solid activation here. Gio activating a little later and missing under star power. What have I been saying all day you cannot do?
I think this
miss under star power.
Gio getting that overlap. That looks solid.
So we had Gio with the overlap, but it didn't bring them back enough. So we're going to be nearly tied on score. Trojans holding a slight lead. But Oh, Trojans missed the phrase. We got reverse spectator glitch. It looked like he hit all of that, but no, he did not. So we're actually going to be equal on points and on SP. This is going to be insane. We are currently at the halfway point of the match. We're switching genres. We're about to start switching leagues. I truly cannot expect or fathom what we're about to see, because what we're about to see is greatness. Oh, I think we got spectator glitch from Gio.
Yes. A little bit longer of an activation gets to about a 10k difference.
Just under. We're at about 9k.
But with the back third of this song, knowing what's coming, that is almost inconsequential.
All the more shoot pleases, all the PP overheats. We're gonna need some extra hype, because this is we're about to reach just a hype overlord here. Oh my gosh, this is going to be insane.
Gio holding star power with only a 7k deficit. Let's see where he chooses to let it fly. Here we go.
Oh my gosh.
Drops from both.
They're both missing. They're both missing.
Phrase miss.
Oh no, spectator glitch. That's gonna be the phrase.
That's big from Gio. As they take the lead, but
Gio with the whammy advantage again. But missing.
And the drop combo will return under star power. And Sans himself.
Now, something tells me Trojans might know the path just based off the fact of them practicing and competing against JRH, who, again, like I said, has FC'd and path this song on numerous occasions. So all of that practice.
Very nice activate. Gio, let's see. Drop gets the phrase, though. Trojans missing on that section earlier in the song. Does it again, but as does Gio.
This is gonna be massive. We're coming down to the wire here. All right.
Let's see.
Everybody hold. Everybody hold.
And the end of the song is not very intense at all.
For their tournament lives. If you miss, you could be out. Like that.
No way. No way.
What have I been saying? You cannot afford
And
to
Gio
miss.
will overlap here. I think it might come down to if there's another phrase after this, because Gio isn't going to get this overlap. And if Trojans does, it might be enough.
This is.
I don't think there's another phrase.
It can't get any closer. It can't.
Oh my God.
Any closer.
No way!
Wow.
400!
What did we just see? That is the closest match we've ever had for a tiebreaker.
Oh, excuse my rudeness.
Gio with the massive notes miss deficit, but it doesn't matter. You cannot miss under star power. I've been saying it all day. My voice is almost gone. You cannot. You should not. And that's what happens. You miss under star power, you're done. You're done. It's over. It's GG's. That is the series. That is Trojans out of the tournament. That is Gio getting ready to play against Moose Pickles at any point now. You cannot have that happen.
My mouth did not close for like a solid minute there. That was quite possibly the best tournament match I've ever seen in my life. And I was lucky enough to be casting for it.
We already had
match!
some.
What a series!
We already had some banger matches. You know, we had Brad Remix, that was insane. We had probably one of the closest 4-0s of all time. And then we had that. I mean, what? Like, I'm legitimately struggling to catch my breath here because
the prediction in the chat was a 10 channel point difference, which I think fully
Oh my god.
represents how close that tiebreaker was.
And
Welcome into
on cue.
GiometriQ and Trojans. I don't know what to say.
I just want to say I had questions for the beginning, or since before the tiebreak started, but those questions are out the window. That tiebreaker was probably the best tiebreaker I've ever witnessed. That is, I've seen a lot of good ones too. I've seen, Jeff against Wise Moose. I've seen Sanic against Remix. Some amazing tiebreakers. But honestly, like, someone had to lose that match, and the fact that it was decided by 400 points on a tiebreaker could not describe how close the level of competition we had there. So, hats off to both of you. I'm going to send it to Tolly for first questions because I need to regather my thoughts.
All right. First question. This is going to be for Gio. The Partita pick. We have been told that it got very close to being a randomly generated pick. What was the thought process behind that consideration, and like as a whole, and ditching it at the last second?
So, and actually, the reason why that pick took so long was because I actually confused myself, and we laughed about it after I picked Partita, was because I thought Terminal or Partita would imply Ballistic Bunny. I have horrific flashbacks from my first round in the playoffs.
Yeah.
Against JJ, doing it. So, but after I had learned that it was actually for Excuse My Rudeness, that made it an easy pick. So, given in my head, I thought it was Ballistic Bunny. Yes, I thought it was a coin flip. But the thing that made me decide it was I was just like, you know what, like, the whole entire time I've been practicing Partita, I have not felt confident at all in it. The first time I played it was my PB, and then I would always be like 80k below it. And I was so confused by it. But yesterday, practicing it, it clicked yesterday, and I was wondering, do I pick it, trusting I'll have that same click again today? And I did.
That's amazing.
So, I have but a single question, and this is for Trojans. So the thing I've noticed throughout the entire match is that you were always consistently at a whammy deficit. Do you think there's a chance that whammy deficit cost you the match against Gio here?
I'd say partially. To be honest, I think a lot of my ship misses probably contributed to it a little more, but I didn't really notice the deficit. But yeah, I suppose now that you mention it, especially, I mean, that obviously could have made the difference in the last song, especially. But so I feel like to answer partially yes, but also, not necessarily just that, but I think it definitely could have been at least a factor for sure.
Ooh. So we're gonna go ahead and get a peek at the bracket. I already mentioned it earlier, but that was before we had the players come in. So Trojans, you performed very well throughout the tournament, but unfortunately that's the end of your tournament life there.
Yep, it is it.
You performed very valiantly. You put up a very good match against your sibling, and then you put up an arguably even better match against Gio here, just given how close it was.
Absolutely.
Yeah, just about every match when I would go into like just in between songs, I was just expressing to him like how impressed I was with his performance on each song. Like every single run he was putting on all the songs was a formidable score for me, at least. And shout outs to Trojan. I was telling him also I couldn't even imagine the position he's in right now. Like I was trying to tell him that I was literally on the verge of tears thinking about the position he's in right now, having just lost a tiebreaker that closely.
Absolutely. The Trojans, you have so much to be proud of your run. And I also want to give a shout out to Gio, as he was saying, telling Trojans between songs how impressed he was. I was also I was in Aaron's chat for their match, and he was doing the same thing. He's such an encouraging and like such a good sport and such a talented player as well. So just shout outs to both players.
Yeah, the thing we have to remember here is that as cutthroat as this competition can be, you know, that was decided by less than 1,000 points. It's absolutely, we have to be reminded of the fact that throughout all of the adversity you might face or all of the triumphs you may get, you have to be a good sport at the end of the day. And we absolutely see that. So absolutely big commendations for both of you being absolute sportsmen, being absolute top tier competitors. And I hope to see you Trojans the next time there's a tournament. I feel like it would be a disservice if you didn't at least consider joining the next time there's a tournament, because you put up a very massive fight. But Gio, your tournament life isn't done yet. You're coming up against Moose Pickles here. What are your thoughts?
That is also quite a formidable opponent. The one-handing is crazy from that dude. I've yet to I've come across his YouTube actually recently, given by the demigods a couple of times, and wow, just wow.